Thank you very much. My name is Roland Clarke. I'm one of the coordinators for the Downtown Eastside Street Market. I've been a coordinator since January 2012, a little over 2.5 years. So the market has been at Pigeon Park for a long time. It's over 221 consecutive Sundays at Pigeon Park, but it's changed a lot recently, and hopefully with this talk we can talk about a lot of the changes we've been making, a lot of the improvements we've been making. And we can talk about it in the context of the Downtown East Side. We didn't create this market in a vacuum. There are social conditions in the Downtown East Side that predate the market and will last if the market is canceled. But we believe that the market provides an essential service, and we can talk about that as I go through the slides. And we believe we can do it safely and with a positive impact to the neighborhood. There are markets all around the world. Street markets are a celebrated thing in other areas of the world. Whatever you can see on the eastern block of Hastings, that's not what we're trying to make. We're trying to make the safe, regulated alternative to that for people that really engage in survival vending because they have to, because they're poor, and they have very little other options in the Downtown East Side. So this is a picture just taken 2 weeks ago. You can see we have over 30 10x10 canopy tents. We have tables that the vendors vend on. We've worked really hard to regularize it, provide the amenities that the vendors can use so that people aren't vending on the floor. I think there's a lot of cosmetic prejudice that people have because it's similar to the block of Hastings, that people are vending on the ground. Maybe people aren't comfortable walking around. We want this to be a festival that benefits people from the Downtown East Side as a social benefit, but also attracts customers from other places in Vancouver. And we actually see significant numbers of customers from the cruise ships and other places in Vancouver walking through. We estimate we get 5,000 customers on average Sunday. So we can flip through this. So, and there's a picture of one of our vendors there that works. He makes dream catchers and sells art. His name is Marcel Rousseau, and also Frankie there. It's an example of our vendors. So I'll go through and I'll talk through what we think are recent achievements of the street market, the changes and upgrades, and then how the new temporary site will fit into our plans to provide the social benefit for low-income people. So, as I said, we didn't create this market in a vacuum. We didn't create the social conditions of the Downtown East Side. The street market didn't invent drug use in the Downtown East Side. We didn't invent addiction, and we didn't invent survival vending. Survival vending is something that happens every day of the week on the bottom block and up through the eastern blocks of Hastings. And this picture is a picture of something I don't think any neighborhood wants. This picture is a picture of people desperate trying to make money, mixed with everything else, mixed with drug sales, mixed with prostitution, mixed with human slavery, mixed with everything else that is as ugly, more ugly than I could ever imagine. But there are legitimate vendors here that are just trying to survive. They're trying to make a little bit of money because their welfare is so low. On the left-hand side, I just showed a picture. This is the east block of the bottom block of Hastings during our Sunday market. Because what we do is we provide a regulated space for these vendors to go, a safe space. They can vend on a table. We can police what they're vending. We can make sure that it's used goods and not stolen goods, or we can do due diligence at least on it. So this part here, I think affects every neighbor, right? This part here says, with the right conditions in a market that we run safely, we can actually impact the street disorder. So that's a context that we're talking about this market, and that's the context in which the market was started. Because I think there was a discussion earlier about, okay, police response and vending tickets, and whether if the police leave, people coming back to the bottle blocks. I've seen it. We have a lot that's across from this unit block of East Hastings, and you can see if the block gets cleared, people come back to the block. The block gets cleared, people come back to the block. It's like playing whack-a-mole. It's not effectively changing the activity on this eastern block. We believe it's the wrong tool. We believe that the right tool is to give those deserving vendors that are just poor, just trying to survive, a legal market to vend in. This is not something that the vending on the east block of Hastings is not unique to the downtown east side. It actually is right now in the summer occurring almost in every neighborhood in Vancouver. The density is different because the density of low-income people is different in the downtown east side. But I've seen survival vending in Grandview Park. It's commercial intent. I've seen it in Kitsilano. I've seen it in the West End. I've seen it in North Bend. Okay, these are poor people that throw a blanket down on a sidewalk or a piece of grass, and they'll sell a few books or items that they collect, and they're doing it just to survive. And this market is a response to that need, right? So I don't think it's anything special, unique to the downtown east side. What's unique to the downtown east side is the density of need. Our inspiration, our goal, again, is not the blanket on grass, is not the blanket on the sidewalk. Our inspiration is the evolution of other markets in the world. These are examples, and I think actually Tanya put together some of these slides in a previous talk that she gave. This is a market in London. That's a market in Peru. This is a market in Paris. All of these markets in their history went through significant evolutions. They started as very informal gatherings of people trying to sell, usually taking over a street or an alley. The government gets involved because when it was unregulated, when it gets big enough, the government and the vendors work out a compromise. Many of them went through 50 or 100 years before they were selling out of stalls or on tables. This market in Paris, it took 50 years for them to actually have regularized tables and go up from blankets on the ground. Yeah, it's true. Now, it's not to say anybody wants people vending on blankets. I'm just saying that this evolution is natural and has taken place in other markets around the world. So, the downtown Eastside Street Market is not new, okay? We have 220 consecutive Sundays. We haven't missed a Sunday at Pigeon Park in 4 years. That's volunteers that are unpaid, that believe in what they're doing because the vendors are the same population of low-income people that they're helping. As an opportunity, as an opportunity for low-income people to participate in their community and help their fellow vendors, we employ 50 separate volunteer positions each Sunday now, right? With the market at the operational place that it is now. That includes 4 people to get there in the morning to clean up, 10 people to set up the tents and tables in a row, people picking up trash all day, people guarding certain spots all day, and now greeters at the perimeter of the market, watching people coming in, because now we police the market and we say you have to have a vending membership in order to come in. And if people come in with a shopping basket, we can easily say, okay, you're not just a customer, you're vending, you can't come in. So this has now been evolving over time, but it represents over 150 volunteer hours per day, 8,000 volunteer hours per year. It's actually a really big operation. It's an organized thing, and I think it's something that downtown East Side should be. Aggressive ladder that leads directly to employment. Somebody can show up at our Saturday meeting, say they want to work the next day, receive volunteer stipend for beginning level operation, and work their way up rapidly to a position of responsibility, where they're in control of a number of volunteers, they're in control of firing someone if they're not doing their job, and then they have to show up every day. So it's an immediate reward for somebody who's desperate, has no other employment options, who might be recovering from addiction, and needs some form of stability in their life. We're very proud of that aspect. The social benefits are enormous. We think a conservative estimate for the commerce done on a Sunday is $10,000. And that's 200 vendors making on average $50, which we think is accurate or maybe a little conservative. That's $10,000 in commerce every Sunday. That's $500,000 put into the hands of the most marginalized, poorest people in the downtown East Side every year. But at a cost a tenth. The funding for the market is a tenth of that. Right? We run the market at $30,000 or a little bit more, and we actually benefit the low-income people that are vendors to the tune of 10 times that, $500,000 a year. So there's no social program that I've ever heard of that you can get a 10-to-1 multiple. If you give people welfare, it's 1-to-1 or less because you have to administer that program. If you give people food, it's less than 1-to-1 because you have to buy the food and prepare it and give it away. This allows people to take control of their own lives, to make money on their own terms,